Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Well, a fine good morning to all of you, and I hope you're doing well. I'm Doc Hamels, and you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise on Spectrum 1301. We got a great show in store for you. If you like things that go bump in the night or things that crawl under your feet, this is your show today. I got a great guest I've been chatting with before the show, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this. Okay. Well, as always, good afternoon for those of you that are watching us somewhere else in the world, whether you're in Europe or over into Asia. Good morning to those of you that are on the other side of our country, and also good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power of the people in Jamestown, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Thanks for listening in. This show is going to be talking about a program that goes all across Chautauqua County, so everybody listen up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you're enjoying the weather. It's been a little toasty. I asked Alexa today what the weather report was, and she gave it to me. And for some reason, she thought it was important that I should ask what the humidity was. So I said, all right, what's the humidity? What do you think it was, Justin?
65%.
87%. I go, holy mackerel. I said, you're almost like being underwater. So it's a bit muggy out there. But what are you going to do? It's August and it's Western New York. Anyways, we really can't complain. And have you been checking out the sunsets on the lake? For those of you that can get a peek at any of the horizons in the evening, it's been outstanding. I gave up posting pictures on Facebook of all the sunset because everybody else was doing it, but it's been really a beautiful summer in that regard. Could use a little more rain. I'm good with that. I've been watering my vegetable garden. It still looks stunted. It really took a hit there when it got hot back in June, and so things are still growing and kind of thinking about it. But I harvested my first 2 cucumbers. Excited about that. Tomatoes in the logbook. Zucchini, good deal. And everything else is just kind of struggling out there. Lots of things to do in Chautauqua County, okay? If you're new to the area, I can't even begin to do a list. I should probably make a list sometime just to talk about what you could do in Chautauqua County. Chautauqua Institution is in full bore right now. You can go kayaking, you can go on wine tours, fishing, go rails to trails and go hiking, camping, swimming. You got the comedy center, you got antiquing, just zillion farmers markets, music everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, just about probably from Wednesday night through Sunday, there's music somewhere in the county. Monday and Tuesdays, not so much, but usually from about Wednesday forward. The reason why during the week is because a lot of your towns have gazebos, like for instance, Mayville, Westfield, and so forth. They'll have music in the park. Speaking of which, this is self-promoting. This Thursday, the band I'm with, the Midnight Growlers, will be in the Mayville Park from 6:30 to 8:30. So bring a lawn chair or a blanket, and we're going to have a lot of fun out there. Rain or shine. If it rains, we go into the community building, I'm told. So that's August 11th, this Thursday, Mayville Park, 6:30 to 8:30. The Midnight Growlers will be entertaining you. And we're just one of many bands that are out there, and I know that there's some theater going on in all sectors of the county. Nothing that I'm involved with. They gave me a break, I guess, but I know down in Jamestown there's some shows. I know up in Fredonia there's different shows, and if you say there's nothing to do here, you must be living under a cardboard box or something. I don't know. It's a great time to be here in Chautauqua County. I love this county. Want to do a shout out to Meter's Restaurant. We all had a nice lunch. We always have like an annual get together with the crew here as a little bit of a token of thanks for all they do, because it's a volunteer program here. And so we had lunch, and our underwriters help us pay for that. And so thanks Bob and company and Sheila Bentley for that. What does this say here? Okay, I already said that part. We got some announcements, but I do want to remind you a couple things, okay? And Jeff's going to flash this up in a second for me. This is a live call-in show from 9 to 10, and if you do have a question, comment, something you want to share with us, or you have something you want to talk to our guest about in great depth, find out the research background on all what she's going to be talking about. Nah, just kidding. 716-753-5225. Okay, you hear often Mike will call in, or other folks that will be calling in. Linda will call in. They're kind of regularly called because it's kind of fun to talk with folks. But you can become a regular too, and just give us a call. I'd like to hear from you. If you want to say happy birthday to somebody, or have an anniversary, or your club or organization. For instance, last week Linda announced the Lions Club in Mayville was having a chicken barbecue and so forth. So free of charge, we're here for you. But if you are not so inclined to call in and you want to send me something by email, give us email at chautauquasunrise@gmail.com. Chautauqua Sunrise, all one word, @gmail.com. We get this information all the time, and we kind of hone it down because we only have so much time, and I can only say so many words without getting stuck. I know a lot of times you probably are laughing because they get these really long last names I'm supposed to pronounce with like all these vowels, and I give it my best shot. But anyways, I digress. We have some things that you might be interested in, and this one's just came through. This is from the Dunkirk area, okay? Let's pop up that picture. The National Walleye Tour Championship. Now there's a Walleye Championship going on right now, but this is a different one. All right, here we go. After 4 qualifying events that span the Midwest, the top 40 pros and top 40 co-anglers, whatever that means, are set to compete in the 2022 National Walleye Tour Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. The no entry fee tournament takes place August 24th through the 26th on legendary Lake Erie. Not only is it the sport's most lucrative event, or awarding 3 fully rigged boat packages. Let me say that again. They're awarding 3 fully rigged boat packages. I mean, that's like a car. But also determines the Lucas Oil Angler of the Year, the most prestigious title in walleye fishing. Well, I'm sitting here going like, I didn't know any of this. The city of Dunkirk is excited for the opportunity to host the 2022 National Walleye Tour Championship, said my good buddy Willie Rosas. Lake Erie is one of the country's top walleye destinations, and this will be a great event for our local fishing community. Again, that's August 24th through 26th. Anglers will take off each day at 7 a.m. That's a little early. Eastern Time from Holiday Harbor at Chadwick Bay Marina, located at 30 Central Avenue in Dunkirk. The daily weigh-ins will take place at the Dunkirk Pier, which is located at 2 Central Avenue, beginning at 3 p.m. So you're running from 7 to 3 every day. The full field fishes each of the first 2 days, with the top 10 advancing to the third and final day. The winner in each division is determined by the heaviest cumulative weight. So you got to have big, heavy walleyes. For you that are listening on the radio right now, we're looking at a picture of a previous championship, and these gentlemen are holding up 2 each, so 4 altogether. Beautiful walleyes. Jeff, how much do they weigh, do you think, each? 10 pounds? 8, 9 pounds. Okay, so these are good-sized walleye, and our area is known for it. The public is invited to attend the daily weigh-ins, and there will be a free kids fishing clinic after the weigh-in, about 4:30 on Thursday, August 25. Sounds like fun. Prior to the tournament, a community meet and greet is scheduled for August 21 at 5 p.m. in the field between the Clarion Hotel and Tim Hortons, where the anglers will have a chance to show off their vessels and answer questions. The National Walleye Tour consists of 4 regular season events and no entry free championship. Pros compete against other pros, and co-anglers compete against other co-anglers. Okay, and if you want to check it out, you can go to National Walleye Tour, all one word, .com. So that sounds like a lot of fun, and I know there's a lot of fishermen in the area, so check it out. Okay, let's go to the other end of the county now, down to Jamestown. Okay, this is going to be August 12th. Ready? Hot rods, cool classic cars, and elegant autos of all makes and vintages will line the streets of downtown Jamestown for the 29th annual Jamestown Cruise In. The popular annual event will be held from 5 to 8 p.m. Friday, August 12th in downtown Jamestown. Now, once again, for those who are listening on the radio, we're looking at some pictures of the past cruise-ins, lots of old classics there, lots of people down on the streets. The outstanding event attracts a wide variety of unique, beautiful, and interesting cars and trucks. Their owners spend countless hours caring for their special vehicles and enjoy showing them off to the community during events all over the place. Jamestown Cruise In attracts many drivers, so the show is always diverse and expansive. In addition to the autos, Jamestown Cruise In features live music. The great local band, the In Crowd, will return to provide live music. They play an eclectic mix of oldies and newer tunes with a focus on lively sound that gets people dancing in the streets. Jamestown Cruise In is organized by the Jamestown Community Chamber of Commerce as a way to attract foot traffic into downtown Jamestown. The objective is to help existing local businesses. Locally owned restaurants are gearing up for heavier foot traffic that evening, and some downtown retailers will extend their business hours. The Jamestown Babe Ruth World Series Committee will operate a vendor tent for hot dog sales on 3rd Street near Potter's Alley. Carrie Swanson, Jamestown Community Coordinator, noted, "Our focus is on encouraging people to support local businesses, and this is one way to do that. When we draw visitors to downtown Jamestown, we have seen that sales at local restaurants and retailers increase. We saw that with the Cruise In last year and expect to have another great night for local businesses while people enjoy the car show." All right, in addition to the Jamestown Cruise In, there will be 2 other events happening in downtown Jamestown that night. The Chautauqua Symphony Orchestra will play its first ever program at the Reg Lene Center for the Arts in a tribute to Aretha Franklin, with special guest Grammy Award nominee Darrell Williams, who will sing iconic Aretha Franklin hits such as Respect, Think, Chain of Fools, and a whole lot more. That concert begins at 8 p.m. and tickets are available through the Reg Lene box office. In addition, the Whirly Bird Arts Festival will be underway in various venues in downtown Jamestown that night as well, including a beer garden at the Winter Garden Plaza through the evening and live entertainment at the Plaza beginning at 9 p.m. Oof. We hope that people will come out and enjoy more than one of these great events in downtown Jamestown, Ms. Swanson added. We are excited that the Jamestown Cruise In will play a role in what should be an outstanding evening for several organizations and businesses in the community. Wow! You got a triple header that night. So you got the Cruise In, you got music, and then you got the Arts Festival as well. Good stuff. Lots of music. I love it. Okay, let's move on to East Middle County. Okay, Gary Rodeo, last day. We had the guys here last week. Great pictures. And we took a vote here, and not one of us will get on any of those animals, period. End of subject. You got to be nuts. So, Gary Rodeo at the Gary Rodeo Volunteer Fire Department grounds at 4351 Route 60 in Gary, New York. Come out and enjoy the oldest consecutively running rodeo east of the Mississippi. Each night, Western beef barbecue dinners will be served from 5 to 8, and the show starts at 8 p.m. Each show features bareback, bronc riding, tie-down roping, team roping, saddle bronc riding, no, bull riding, no, steer wrestling, no way, and barrel racing, well, that wouldn't be too bad, and breakaway roping. Combo show and dinner tickets are only $30 for adults and seniors, $18 for kiddos, and that's the show plus dinner. Or show tickets are only $18 for adults, $17 for seniors, and $12 for children ages 3 through 12. And if you have little guys under the age of 3, $0, free of charge. If you have some last minute questions, you can give them a call at 888-985-4847. 888-985-4847. A lot of fun over there. We took the kids there years ago. They had a ball. All right. This weekend, today and tomorrow, the 30th Annual Lucille Ball Comedy Festival at various locations and times in Jamestown, New York. This annual comedy festival celebrates I Love Lucy star and comedian Lucille Ball. There will be performances by comedians Margaret Chow and I guess Jeff Foxworthy. I think he performed last night, maybe, as well as comedy late night and stand-up showcases featuring comedians from across the nation. Individuals can also enjoy lunch or dinner in the Tropicana Room. Lucy and Ethel shows, guided bus and steamboat tours of Lucy's hometown, block parties, and just a whole lot more. Want more information? Give them a call at 716-484-2222. Again, 716-484-2222. There's so much going on. I told you there was a lot going on. Now, let's go back to the West County. Our next door neighbor to us in Sherman. Sherman Day in the village of Sherman. The day kicks off outside of Minerva Library from 9 to 11, so right about now. With kids' games and activities, there will be a parade down Main Street at 11, followed by chicken barbecue and the Stanley Hose Company, a car show along Main Street, and a cornhole challenge and live music at Edmonds Park. You got last minute questions? Give them a call at 716-6781. All right, this is countywide, the CCE LEAF program, otherwise known as the Cornell Cooperative Extension of Chautauqua County, is excited to announce the return of the well-loved LEAF. This is called Learn, Empower, and Achieve Farm programming for the fall 2022 season. There are going to be 14 exciting classes scheduled. So I'll just give you just a little gist of it. The first class will be everything you want to know about herbs on Wednesday, September 14th. So this is a little bit down the road, but you can start marking your calendars. That'll be at 6 p.m. The instructors are from the Herb Mill in Niobe, New York. These ladies are extremely knowledgeable about herbs in all stages of growing, preserving, drying, and using them for medicinal purposes and cooking. Okay, so some of the other topics will be, so you want to start a farm, small-scale composting methods for the home, equine end of life, business planning for beginning farmers, yummy yeast breads, Vet 101, what to do when things go wrong, raising capital for your farm, basics of home food preservation, I'm good at that, sourdough and salt rising breads, baby mama's drama, do's and don'ts of annual birth on the farm, old-fashioned soap making, Sewing 101, and grant writing 101. So if you're not into animal husbandry, there's things you can do in the kitchen. If you don't want to do that, you can learn about farming or gardening. So lots of cool things. You want to know more information, give them a call at the extension at 716-664-9502, extension 209. Once more, 716-664-9502, extension 209 for any of these classes. So you don't have to take them all, you just take a couple of them, or one or two. All right, and let's go to the movies. Back to Jamestown. This Wednesday, August 10th at 7 p.m. Finally, they give me something I can pronounce. Gabby Giffords Won't Back Down tells the extraordinary story of former Arizona Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, her relentless fight to recover following an assassination attempt in 2011. And her new life as one of the most effective activists in the battle for gun violence prevention and promoting understanding of the language condition called aphasia, featuring extensive live filming of Gabby and her husband, astronaut turned Senator Mark Kelly, interviews with Barack Obama and other friends and colleagues, and exclusive access to stunning videos taken in the weeks following her near-death experience. This film is the story of a rising star transformed by an act of violence in a close-up portrait of the marriage that sustains her. It's 98 minutes long and it's PG-13. Now, this next one's kind of interesting. This is on August 17th at 7 p.m. Eiffel is presented in French with English subtitles. Eiffel revolves around Gustave Eiffel as he finishes his collaborations on the Statue of Liberty and is pressured by the French government to design something spectacular for the 1889 Paris World Fair. Eiffel simply wants to design the subway, but something changes when he crosses paths with a mysterious woman from his past. Their long-lost forbidden passion inspires him to build the iconic Eiffel Tower. I did not know that. Rated 108 minutes long. Rated R, 108 minutes long. As you know, tickets are generally $7 and so on. You can get tickets at 484-7070, or you can go to the box office and get tickets throughout the week. That's it for now. That's how easy it is. Send us your announcements. We'll get them on the air. I'm going to take a breather. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Fneck, where you will find supportive
and knowledgeable peers who will empower you
to plan and create affordable
meals and nourishing snacks
that balance variety and convenience while keeping an eye on food safety
and learning to move more. Whether online or in person,
connect with us today.
Okay, we're back. I'd like to welcome to the show Molly Brown. She is a 4-H youth educator, and I met you at a Rotary presentation, and I sat there and I thought, we need to share more of this with the rest of the world. So you're streaming live right now around the world.
And here we are.
And here we are, and you're part of the cooperative Cornell Cooperative Extension as well, right?
I am.
So let's talk a little bit about you, who you are, and then your job and what you're doing. So Molly, are you from here originally, this area?
I'm not. I was moved here from Denver, Colorado, by my husband, and we moved here 9 years ago.
But your husband's from around here.
He is around here. He wanted to move back to be closer to his family.
What was he doing out there?
He was doing construction out there, and he had a great group of friends, and he was living the dream, but also was missing out on his nieces and nephews' lives and wanted to be close to his mom and dad. So this is where he wanted to call home, and there was no way I was letting him go.
So you've been back here now, he's been back here how long?
About 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have kids, right?
Yes.
You want to do a shout out to them?
Yeah, actually, hey Griffith and Lillian, I know you're watching at home. I love you. And then can I say happy birthday to my mom? She's in Albuquerque.
I think you just did.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mom. And my brother's actually visiting.
Wait a minute, what's your mom's name?
Her mom's Cindy. My mom's name is Cindy. We call her Bubby. And my brother's visiting her for her birthday today. So that's shout out to everybody.
And his name is?
His name is Micah.
Okay. See, you got.
Sorry.
See, when you just use
full disclosure here, everybody. I could draw a tree.
When you use nouns, people say, "Well, why didn't she say my name? I want to get my name on TV."
Sorry. Hi, Micah. Hi, Bubby.
And your husband's name is Justin, and his parents are Dave
And Cindy Brown
and Cindy
of
Brown.
Westfield. Yep.
Sandy Brown. And Dave was on the show a couple years ago. Anyways, we were talking about Civil War reenactment and things like that. And
Yes.
it was really cool. Okay, so you came with your husband to this area. Was it kind of a culture shock?
I'd say a little bit, but a lot. It was really hard. He wanted to start a farm, so we got 19 chickens, and it's all over from there. Now we're over 200 chickens, and mini donkeys. We gave birth to, not me. I didn't give birth to.
I didn't think so.
No, I didn't give birth to the mule, but my pony and my donkey had a baby, Moscow mule, and so the farm's just growing, and we now have 6 goats and just living the farm dream over here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you caught me off guard on that one. So are you farmers? I mean, is that your livelihood?
It is not. It is
Okay.
not. He does heavy highway construction, and then I found my perfect place in life working for Cornell Cooperative Extension and 4-H. So my resume was kind of weird when I applied. I said, honey, I'm going to apply for this job with Cornell Cooperative Extension, but I think it's going to be a good fit. And I went in for my interview, and I had all high-end fashion background, and they're like, why are you here? I'm like, well, let me tell you. And I was like, I really enjoy animals, but I really, all of our nieces and nephews had 4-H experience, and I just thought it was the perfect fit, and it has been life-changing.
Okay, I got to ask you a question now.
Yeah.
So when you say high-end fashion, we're talking like, Michael Kors, that type of thing? or-
Yeah, I was a buyer in Denver, and went and traveled to New York and Dallas and Vegas and LA and did fashion buying.
So you were a buyer, but you weren't a designer? or-
Not a designer. Nope.
Okay.
Nope, a buyer for a store in Denver.
So how'd you get into that?
It actually fell in my lap. I just put on my first pair of high heels, and it was all over after
There was
there.
they had you at high.
And they made their trek here from Denver as well. They're
Uh-huh.
all living in the house. They haven't seen the light of day since we moved here, but all the high heels came with me.
High heels.
Yes,
Very cool. Well, that's a whole nother world, isn't it?
it is.
That whole fashion world.
It is.
And we used to, you got to watch something on TV. Was it Project Runway?
Yes,
That
yes.
was kind of interesting, and all those things. Barb and I would watch those from time to time, and the competitions and things like that. Okay, so this is sort of like Green Acres.
Yes, yes. It should be a book.
It should be a book.
Fashion girl turns farmer.
Yeah, wow, really cool. So why do you have 200 chickens? I mean, do you sell eggs?
We
or-
do. We sell the majority of our eggs at Reverie Creamery.
Oh, okay.
We live right down the street from there.
Okay.
And they've always been very supportive of local farmers
Yeah.
and local every industry, and they have sold our eggs for almost 5 years now.
Really?
Yeah.
And what kind of chickens you got?
Oh my gosh, 20 different breeds.
Oh, so
I want like an entire smorgasbord
So
of
you have the
beautiful
rainbow
chickens.
color eggs?
Yes. Yep, all
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
different colors.
I've had people say, "No, you dye those eggs," and I don't have them, but my in-laws have chickens, and they have the different colors. I go, "No, really, seriously, they're blues and there's pinks and there's kind of yellows and."
Oh yes, yep. Yeah, I buy them based on different colors. I wanted the really dark eggs. I wanted the really pretty blue eggs.
So, do you have like broilers for eating chickens?
Nope.
These are just egg chickens.
Just egg chickens.
So, I have to ask the tough question: How long do they lay eggs, and then what happens next?
They live with us forever.
Forever.
Forever, despite my husband's best wishes. But we have some that have been with us from the beginning almost.
Oh, wow.
We have some, and their legs, you can tell they're older ones because the legs get thicker and thicker, and so we have
They
some
walk
that
a little limp.
they not quite yet. They're still hanging in there, but they just kind of keep laying. Some of them are heavy egg layers, some are just pretty egg layers, and
Okay. I didn't know how long chickens live, because chickens I raised only live 6 months.
no, we have some light Brahmas that have been with us since 14. So
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's-
and one of our roosters is that old as well.
Oh my gosh. So you got a rooster that wakes you up every morning like about 5 o'clock?
Oh no, he's way before that.
Way
I'm
before
sorry,
that?
neighbors. Sorry.
there used to be a rooster down the road from us, and it was like 4:30 in the morning,
Oh yes,
squawking
yes.
away. But I don't know what happened to him. I had nothing to do with his death. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it went. I don't know. So when you say Denver, I think of me sucking air. Was it because of the altitude? I really am very susceptible to the conditions. You know, when I'm in the high elevations, it takes about 2 days to acclimate to it.
I've heard that.
But obviously, if you live there and
Yeah.
you were born there, it's not a big deal.
No.
Do you ever notice if you go back or you don't go back?
I haven't been back.
Okay.
But I was curious of the same thing. But I haven't. When I go, I'll let you know.
Yeah. First couple of days, because my son lived in Colorado Springs.
Oh yeah.
And his family, and we used to go there. And the first day or two, I had to sleep sitting up because I just couldn't breathe.
Oh,
I don't know why.
interesting.
Yeah, it was really really weird. And talk about long hikes. We'll just take it slow the first couple of days. Then after the second or third day, then I was fine. But wow.
It definitely takes some acclimating.
Yeah. Okay, so you are in Chautauqua County, and you got a farm, a working farm, really, right?
Yeah.
So what's with the donkey? I mean, is that just a pet? Or?
We don't eat it, so I wanted.
Oh, good.
I wanted a whole farm
I've
of
never
animals
heard
you don't
anybody
eat.
serving donkey around.
I wanted a whole farm of animals you don't eat.
Okay.
They're just gorgeous pets.
Lots of fun. And goats. Are these the fainting goats or?
No, they're just
dwarf?
adorable.
You know, we watch a lot of interesting TV, like a lot of veterinarian shows and the zoo shows and things like that. And those little fainting goats, they just kind of fall over.
And expensive, I hear,
Are
to
they?
get one of those.
I would not know. Goats are not on my list, but and you said a mule. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 200 chickens, donkeys, mules, and goats. What's next?
2 dogs, a husband, and 2 kids.
2 dogs.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
So what's next? Llamas, alpacas?
No, I think we're good right now.
You're good.
I think we're good for a while.
Okay.
Maybe emus.
Okay.
I'm a big
Have
fan.
you ever gone up to emu?
I haven't.
They have like this bony chest, and it goes. Do. It's real loud. I was standing next to emu one time. That's the only reason why I know.
I'd also love to raise reindeer.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
But we'd have to have a bigger door to come.
Okay, so with 4-H, you got this job, and had you been in 4-H as a kid?
No, I wish I had been.
So this is kind of a.
Oh yeah, we just hit the ground running.
Bang! All right, so what does 4-H stand for?
Head, heart, hands, and health.
You did know the answer.
I did. I had a feeling it was going to come up.
People say, they go, hey, and I'll watch them. They'll go right down their body. So the whole idea, it's the whole person, I guess, right?
It is. And creating a better world and better heart and a better community.
Yeah.
It's an incredible organization.
We need a lot more of that these days.
We do.
We really do.
4-H kids are the most special kids I've ever met.
Yeah. So were you involved with the county fair recently?
Oh, I was, but I'm on like the back end of it because I do more short-term programming that doesn't involve animals.
Okay.
But I'm also fully supportive of everything 4-H, and so the second I could be at the fair, I wanted to be at the fair to help the kids out and help my coworkers out and stuff like that.
Okay. So, as I recall, whenever I've gone to the county fairs, whether it's the Chautauqua or you go to the Erie County Fair, 4-H always has big exhibits or places where the kids set up like sewing and food production or their crops and things like that, animal husbandry, displays, things like that. Collections?
Absolutely.
So it's really cool. There's different types of youth organizations, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, whatever. But I think 4-H kind of has their own niche. It's kind of neat.
It does. I feel like there's a preconception that you have to have an animal to be on 4-H. Mm-hmm. And that's the number one question I get when anyone's ever asking me about 4-H is, well, I don't have a pig, I don't have a place to put a horse, but it's really for everyone. And that's kind of where my job came into, was to provide STEM and other kind of 4-H programming for kids that doesn't involve a pig or a horse. But even if they want to be in the 4-H and at the fair, there's photography, there's sewing, there's basically anything that you can dream of that you have a passion in, and you join a 4-H club, then they will find the support to help you. We had bat boxes going to state fair this year. Mm-hmm. We have worm farms going to state fair. So anything that you might have a passion on, 4-H can help put it on showcase and be judged and teach you public presentation skills and stuff like that to support you in any kind of capacity, even if it doesn't involve a pig or a horse.
Okay. We're going to get to some of your programs here in a second, but let's just go back just a little bit. So you mentioned kids being in 4-H, and I get that. What's the age that you can join?
So you can start at age 5, and from 5 to 8 you're a clover bud, which is non-competitive. So even if you wanted to show an animal, you can still participate in the fair and have your animal at fair, but none of it is competitive. And then from 8 to 18 you can basically from 5 to 18.
But you don't have to go to the fair, right?
You don't have to go to the fair.
That's just a way of showcasing whatever.
Absolutely. Yep.
So you said club. Are there? I guess I didn't even realize there were clubs. How many clubs are there in Chautauqua County?
You know, I don't know the answer to how many there are, but they're kind of area specific. So there's the Sherman Club, and then there's a Frewsburg Club, and then there's even, Dunkirk area clubs. And the kids get together and they work on projects, and it's a family affair, which is really nice because the parents come and they're part of it. And they get together and learn a new topic or do a community project together or any kind of anything. And they work together. Usually it's once a month or so that they meet.
Okay, you may not know this answer, but so far you're doing really, really well.
Well, thank you.
4-H, how old is it? Where was it started? I mean,
man, Lindsay, I need a lifeline here.
In general.
I want to say 1918, but I'm not 100% on that one.
Okay, so it's over 100 years old.
Yes.
See how I did that for you?
I think.
It's like over 100 years old.
I'm really sorry if I'm wrong, but I think it's pretty close to that.
Okay.
I know it's been around for a while.
And was there a particular region that it started? Or?
That I don't know the answer to.
Okay. I mean, we could do a lookup on Google, but I was just wondering if there was something that people talk about, as far as the background on 4-H. And I didn't ask you to come in here to talk about 4-H specifically, so that's not a fair question.
It's a great thing to talk about.
But what I meant was that you may not know everything about all that stuff, because some people, they live and breathe this stuff and they can tell you all the presidents and all the clubs and all that stuff. But all right, so you come from high-end fashion, you're out in Denver, you get married, you come back here, you start a farm, and then you go do a job interview.
Find my dream job.
And you find your dream job.
Yeah.
Why is it your dream job?
Oh, it's so cool. I have like the funnest job ever. I get to hang out with kids, work in the dirt, play with worms. I mean, just hang out, and I get to go all over Chautauqua County. I get to go to the rural parts, the inner city parts. I get to go everywhere and just have fun with kids and do really enriching, empowering things. It's just the coolest thing ever.
So, you mentioned STEM. Okay, I know what it is. How about telling the folks what STEM is? Because some people actually say STEAM. They put another one into the arts.
Which I think is important as well.
So go ahead and let's talk about STEM.
Science, technology, engineering, and math. And the program is called STORY, Science, Technology, Opportunities for Rural Youth.
This is your program.
My program, it was originally funded by the Ralph Wilson Jr. Foundation.
Okay.
And it was a 3-year grant.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a lot of amazing work, and we've reached a lot of youth. And then we petitioned or showed the Chautauqua County legislators all the amazing work and asked for help funding it. And they have graciously helped to be able to fund the program to continue on.
Okay.
And we're so grateful and so
All right,
happy.
so the program's called STORY.
STORY.
And it stands for what again?
Science, Technology, Opportunities for Rural Youth.
Okay, even though you go into maybe this
Yes, all of Chautauqua County is considered a rural area.
And its main mission?
To provide short-term STEM 4-H education for youth. So these kids in the schools that don't have a horse or a pig, but still deserve access to amazing 4-H curriculum, I'm the person that gets to go in there and have this amazing curriculum to reach all of the youth of Chautauqua County, because everyone deserves to have 4-H programming, even if you don't have a horse.
Okay, so curriculum, being a prior teacher in my one lifetime, it's a body of work that you say, I'm going to cover this. All right, I'm going to teach this. This is what I hope the kids are going to learn. So where did that curriculum come from?
Basically on what I like to learn about, I think. Just random stuff. I took this, so I've been very interested in farming since I moved here. And
I see that, yes.
I feel like I'm a good middle person for farming because I'm obsessed with farmers. If you ate today, hug a farmer because we can't do it without you guys. And to my whole heart, thank you to the farmers. And so this has been my, like, being a farm ambassador since day one. And so learning about this, and COVID hit, and I met with this incredible family in Dunkirk, and they kind of took me under their wing, and I was learning about their awesome machinery. And he's like, you're missing a key part of this, and that's the soil. And I said, oh my gosh, I don't know about the soil. I better learn about the soil. And I work for Cornell Cooperative Extension, so I have all these amazing educational resources. So I took this soil class and fell in love with soil, and that's where worm farms came from. And so just something that drives and passion, and we can't live without the soil, so why not learn about it and teach our youth about how incredible the soil is?
How long does it take to make an inch of dirt?
Thousands of years.
100
100 years?
per inch.
Per inch? Sure. Okay. Is that for all types of soils?
I have no idea.
Me neither.
This area around here, from what I've been told, I think that was the thing. And probably someone's going to call up. That's not true. It's 98. But it's about 100 years by the time all your leaves and things rot and then decompose and animal parts and all that good stuff. About 100 years. And that's really cool that you want to learn about that. So I'm still a little lost here. Where does this passion come from? I mean, is this something as a child you said, boy, I should get into farming, or you had neighbors?
Well, I think it's just so cool. I mean, we can't live without farmers, and farmers work so hard for us to survive. Yeah. I just think it's so cool, and there's not a lot of recognition out there for them. So I just think that fueled it, and I just, all our friends, work hard as farming and just learning.
So it just kind of
everything that goes
lit
into
a fire in you.
And then, I never loved bats. We have a lot of bat roommates at our house. My husband laughs at me. He's like, you take on curriculum of things that you haven't always loved, And I admittedly didn't love bats, but I realized how important bats are and why there's a need to get word out about bats. And the same with worms, because it's important to learn about our soil and where our food comes from. So I think it's just understanding that there's a need and to educate a lot with recycling. I love to take kids to the landfill because I think that's huge. I mean, to learn when you throw something away, can it be recycled? What happens with recycling? Why don't you recycle? And, creating an education of something that there's a need.
Okay, let's go back to STEM. So growing up as kids, in my era, you were supposed to go to college, or it was liberal arts, and you learned science, but you didn't learn technology. You didn't really get engineering. That was for somebody else, and the math was the math, but it was never applied math. That's what this does, right? It kind of fires up kids to be thinking in terms of everyday stuff that they could be doing and experimenting with hands-on.
Absolutely. And really looking into it, basically, I mean, everything in some aspect encompasses STEM, which is what I think is so cool about the category of STEM, because we can take it from, literally teaching robotics, but then, I'm developing a curriculum for fish painting and learning about our waterways, which also encompasses STEM. So, I mean, it's just such a broad range of things that, are STEM to reach the kids.
Now, I mentioned some people say STEAM because my friends over at Infinity Performing Arts Group, they're in the arts, and I think that's important too. And a lot of kids don't have access to the arts, so
or a space to feel free to do art.
Yeah.
I love to accompany art with any of the lessons. That's most of it always comes back to we decorate the bat boxes, or we incorporating all of it together.
Okay. So, bats. Let's talk about bats. When I was teaching over at the Hughes Center, for some reason we had bats from time to time in the where you would come into the main doorway area. It was kind of like an enclosure, and there'd be a bat there. Guess who always got called? Me, to go get the bat. I was always intrigued by them, like yourself. And so I always put gloves on and stuff like that. But I would pick up the bat, and then I would show the kids the bat. And they're tiny. They're not very
They
big.
are.
And so like, they're not, I mean, I think if they put their mouth around your thumb, good luck. I mean, they're not very big.
Unless we're a fruit bat, then
Right.
it might be a different case to pick it up.
Right,
with
but I
it.
mean, the general, the bats around here just aren't all that big.
Correct, yeah.
But they're endangered, right?
Very.
So you have bat houses at your house?
Working on it.
Working on it.
Working on it. I've been putting all my effort into bat houses all over Chautauqua County. So,
Okay, so why? Let's go to the why.
well, I wanted to do something with bat conservation, and so I reached out to. I mean, we have the most amazing resources in Chautauqua County. So, I reached out to Jonathan, and
Jonathan who?
Townsend.
Okay.
I call him my bat specialist, and I mean he is. He does a lot of amazing work
Now,
with bats.
where's he out of?
He's been a couple different places. I think he's on his own right now.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, Jonathan, call in. And so I reached out to him, and he kind of paved the way. And it actually blew up. We're over 330 bat boxes that my dad and I have built for Chautauqua County to have either kids build them or to decorate them. But most of the time the kids build them. So I finished up at Falconer School District the beginning of the year, and the kids actually assembled them themselves.
Sweet.
Which was very cool. And just decided there was a huge need. We can't have agave, which would be a detrimental thing without bats.
Right.
And chocolate. And so that's my big teaching point for the kids is we would have no chocolate cake, no chocolate cupcakes, no chocolate ice cream.
But we don't have agave and chocolate as a rule here in Chautauqua County. So why?
But they would bring it. I mean, some of the local stores would, carry.
Well, what I mean is what good do bats do locally?
Oh, locally? Well, this is my favorite question. I ask kids, are you scared of bats? Are you not scared of bats? And most of them will raise their hands that they love bats, but some of them are scared, and that's okay too, because I was scared of bats. But then I said, who here loves mosquito bites? And I've only had one kid raise their hand, but I think they were trying to be kind of silly. And bats eat, over 1,000 bugs an hour. And so then I ask the kids who would love to have 1,000 mosquito bites at one time.
Yeah.
And nobody raises their hands for that one. And so to have bats just for the bug population and the agricultural part of it is huge. And they help, I think my statistic from 2011 was $22.9 billion bats helped with agricultural purposes. And that's huge for farmers.
But yet they're on the decline.
They are.
And that's because why?
Well, a huge issue with the bats is white nose syndrome.
Okay.
And so it's a virus that takes over when they're in their caves, and it's highly contagious. And then pesticides and wind turbines are another thing, but I don't usually get into those because they're very controversial, and
Yes,
I'd like
they
to
are.
keep it,
But diseases. But at our house, we live on the escarpment in Ripley, and 30 years ago when we first moved there and built and stuff, well, actually 35, you would see a lot of bats at night. And now if I see one or two, it's like an exception.
I think they all moved to my house.
Could be. We just
I think
send some back.
my house might be the population of entire Chautauqua.
A couple years ago, I got Barb a bat house, and I followed the instructions religiously and made sure it was facing south and up in the air and away from trees. And we had one bat. That was it. And then we have another house, no bats, but I don't know, that you buy them at the stores, and some of them have like boards inside or mesh or something. Others just plain. Does it make any difference?
I think it does. The whole point, the bats only have one pup per year. And the pups are very susceptible to disease or falling out of the bat box. And so taking care of the pup to help the pup get strong and healthy, I think is a huge part of the conservation of bats. And so I like to build the 2-chamber boxes so the
Okay,
pups...
why don't we point that towards Justin, and he'll do a little
right
close
here.
up.
There we
There
are.
we go. So 2-chamber. So go ahead and describe it.
So a place where the pups can kind of be in their own separate little area. I have, place for their feet to crawl up and that they can hold on
So
to
they're like
nice
little
and tight.
ridges, little grooves there.
There are some bat boxes where they have a net that kind of comes out like on a J hook.
Okay.
Where the bats, if they were to fall, the pups could climb back up in.
Ooh, okay. The one I have has like cheesecloth inside there or something, so that it's for clinging on.
Yeah.
And the other one doesn't have anything in it, so.
Is that the one that's not populated?
Mm-hmm.
Bat guano might help. You could take some bat guano and rub it
Rub it
inside.
in there.
You can harvest some from my house.
Okay, sure. So the kids actually assemble these things?
They do. They do. That's why I brought this particular one. This one's made out of cedar, but most of the other ones we do rough cut hemlock because it's pretty rough and it's easy for the bats to climb onto, and it's less expensive.
I see people paint theirs black. Does it have to be painted?
It doesn't. Most of the cedar ones we don't paint black, but the rough cut we've been painting most of them. It helps keep them warmer. They like it over 100
Why don't you
degrees.
just stand it up a little bit so people can see a little bit to it? Pretty basic, just planks of wood, and it's got like a slanted
Roof to
there.
keep the rain out.
Keep the rain out. Now, I haven't seen it vented that way where you got the boards, you got spacers in there. That's a little different.
Well, with it being so hot, you like to have the air ventilation to have them so that there's some ventilation in there.
Okay. Now, the bat house, it's mounted on a plank.
It is the back. Yep,
So
the back.
so you mount that to a plank, and then you put that where?
You could put it on a building. You want it 12 to 15 feet in the air, south or east facing direction. But you could do it on a tree, on a post, on a building, anywhere that you think that it would be able to get warm enough and accessible enough for bats. And you want it to be by a body of water. So, because bats need, obviously.
Body of water.
Mm-hmm. Like if you have a creek or a stream, that's where you're going to find more of your bats.
Okay. How many bat houses do you need? One?
I think as many as, we could probably at my house use a mansion. We could probably use one that's the size of our house.
Okay.
But I think start with one and see if you have any success with it.
Okay. Because sometimes I see people have multiple ones, and I just didn't know if having multiple houses would attract more bats, or you know what I mean. Like,
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay,
I
was just
would
curious.
love to know the
I
answer
asked lots
to
of
that.
questions. There may not be answers to them all. What's the cost of a general bat house to make?
So the ones that we're doing for the schools out of hemlock, those are about $10. This one was out of cedar, and I priced this one out at $33, and that doesn't include my time to make it. But
Right.
For materials, it's a much more expensive wood for the cedar.
Okay. So you've done this in Faulkner. Where else have you done this?
We just did a program at Patterson Library where
Okay.
we did 20 boxes for Patterson Library. I've got a picture up that I gave to you guys that was 50 bat boxes for the Clymer French Creek area, and
Okay.
every child got to take it home.
There wow.
That was a lot of work, but a
Wow.
really great
Who
time.
helps you with all this?
My dad, he's got an amazing wood shop set up, and he enjoys it, and he's great at it, and we get to spend time together. So we really love building them together.
So so the kids didn't build these.
The kids did not build these. I don't have 50 screw guns, or
Right.
else I probably would have let them build them.
All right. So then what do they do with them? You said
They decorated them. They painted them black. And then a lot of the libraries, so Lakewood Library did a set where they painted
one.
them.
Here's a-
Yep, this was just done at Patterson Library, and so he painted a bat on the
Very cool.
roof of it. Yeah.
Okay. So when you discuss bats, of course, rabies got to pop up.
Yes.
So
yes.
parents are saying, there's no way I'm going to have bats around my house because my kid's going to get bitten and end up in the hospital.
I think that is the biggest problem with the bats right now is the misconception about bats. Because a lot of the times when I want to know what is your issue with bats? What don't you love about bats? And most people will raise their hands and say, well, they all have rabies. Well, that's just not true. Less than 1% of bats have rabies. But I think the problem is that when you see a bat, like your only interaction with a bat usually is during the daytime, and they're in somewhere weird or they're on the ground or something like that. And that, obviously they're sick, or else if they were healthy, they'd be up in an attic or a tree and they'd only be out at night while you're sleeping. And so I think everyone thinks that there's rabies or they're gonna fly in my hair, they just wanna attack my hair. No, they're probably saving your face from a mosquito bite, And so I think that being a bat ambassador, and that's what I keep kind of telling the kids, is the best way to help the bats. Just, Aunt Linda, why do you hate bats so much? Well, they all have rabies. Well, actually, Aunt Linda, they don't all have rabies. Only less than 1% have rabies.
You're not going to believe this, but Aunt Linda's on the phone.
Aunt Linda's on the phone.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning,
Hi.
Linda.
Good morning. Good morning, Molly.
Hi, good morning.
It's great to see you on the show, and I think it's a wonderful way to influence children with things like the 4-H and animals. And the 4-H and the animals are always my favorites at the fairs. So It's great. Thank you for all you do. If you're interested in bats, and it's quite fascinating, have you ever talked to Caroline Bissell, who does bat chats in Chautauqua?
Yes, actually. I worked with her my first year being at Chautauqua. I worked with her, and she was so incredible. She's got quite a bat house at her house, and she provided me with all sorts of really awesome information to share with the kids. And
Yes.
her kind of, I believe she's been retired from it, but she was very helpful and forthcoming with providing information and pictures and coloring pages, and she was wonderful.
Yeah, she's very knowledgeable about it.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much. And Doc, good morning. And I want
Good
to
morning.
thank the community for the tremendous support that we received on Thursday
Great.
at our Lions Club Chautauqua Maple Chicken Barbecue.
Did you sell out?
Pretty much. They always give us extra. We did very well.
Good. Well, congratulations. Well done.
And anything that's left over, we take down to Westfield to the food
Food
service
pantry.
place.
Yeah, great. All right, Lynn, thanks for calling, as always.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great weekend.
All right, take care now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Okay, so it looks like I need to do some engineering on one of my bat houses and put an extra compartment in there, because it's like that basically, but doesn't have that extra board inside where my other one does, and has like material in there and sort of things. Okay, so you do more than just bats, and we have about 3 minutes. What else have you been up to? Worms, you said.
Worms.
Worms.
So there's a lot of worms going on in Chautauqua County, and a big part of my curriculum, and the schools are really supportive of it, is providing the schools with their own worm farms to help teach about food waste, composting. This was the worm farms that were done at Falconer, and it's just been really exciting with the local libraries. Hundreds of worm farms have gone out to the community.
All right, what's a worm farm? I mean, how do you describe it to people?
So I've got it in a little box, and then air holes, and then you feed them your food scraps. So the banana peels, your tops of your strawberries, and you just feed them, and you put the worms in, and then they eat the scraps and turn it into amazing worm poop.
We're talking earthworms? Just
Red wigglers. The red wigglers are known for composting.
no, wait a minute. Red wigglers are just worms that are in the ground.
You can find them. I actually get mine from the local bait shop because I found. But Uncle Jim's Worm Farm is another place where they specialize in worm composting. But red wigglers are just known for composting food.
Now, what about the worms that are in my backyard? Can I use them?
You could, but most of the time those might be night crawlers or a different
Right.
kind of earthworm, or hopefully not the jumping worm, the invasive jumping
Oh,
worm.
let's not talk about jumping worms.
Let's not talk
I
about.
don't even think about jumping
no,
worms.
don't even get me started on invasive species.
So kids learn about worms and the importance of them,
And food waste and
and see, they're part of that inch that over 100 years that are building the compost and
Correct.
look at natural breakdown of foods and things.
yes.
Okay. So other programs you're working on in the future?
So I'm looking, once things slow down, because we've done a lot of programming, I did the math on it. We're just short of 3,100 youth that I worked with since the beginning of the year,
Wow,
which is pretty
congratulations.
exciting
Yeah.
between Ag Literacy Week and different programming over the summer in the institution. Looking to do a fish curriculum. So I got these really amazing fish molds, and the kids can go and do fish painting on them. And then here's some pictures. This is from Clymer French Creek Library here. And then the other day the other picture is from Camp Chautauqua. Look at how beautiful those are. Aren't they neat?
So they get to talk about the dorsal fins
And stuff like
all
that in our
stuff.
local waterways. My molds are from fish that inhabit Chautauqua and Lake Erie, and doing bionic testing and stuff like that for our waterways.
Cool.
So,
Molly Brown, we're running out of time.
okay.
So this has been fun. We got
This
to do
has
this
been
again
fun.
sometime.
This has been fun.
How do people get a hold of you for more information?
So the best way to get a hold of me would be email, which is mrb287@cornell.edu. I am full on summer programming, feet to the pavement, so I'm not in the office very often right now. So, winter will be a different story when I'm redeveloping and changing up some curriculum, but right now we're just working with youth all summer.
Okay. So thanks for coming by. This
Thanks
was a lot
for
of fun.
having me. Yes.
And we run out of
I know. We could talk all day about
Talk
4-H
about it. That's what I
programming.
said. This is not a hard thing to do. Folks, you've been watching Molly Brown and myself. She's a 4-H youth educator. How's that?
Yep.
And she's with the Cornell Cooperative Extension. So I think we learned a little bit about bats and earthworms. Red wigglers, right?
Red wigglers.
Red wigglers.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to do this all again next Saturday morning right here on Access Chautauqua, Spectrum 1301. And for those of you watching around the world, have a great day. And, let's keep the kindness and peace and good thoughts going around, especially, what is it?
Head, heart, hands, and health.
Okay, 4-H. Take care now, and we'll see you next time. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.